I sat in the back of a police cruiser, watching the flashing red and blue lights reflect off the windows of the home I built with my own two hands 40 years ago. My tuxedo was torn at the shoulder, and my hands were shaking, not from fear, but from the adrenaline of finally cutting the cord. My daughter was screaming at an officer on the front lawn, her mascara running down her face in black streaks. Her husband, Greg, was already in cuffs, shouting about how I was senile, how I didn't know what I was doing. But I knew exactly what I was doing. I had just executed what my lawyer called the nuclear option. Let me introduce myself. My name is Arthur Vance. I am 68 years old, a retired structural engineer. I spent my life ensuring that skyscrapers wouldn't collapse under pressure. I never imagined that the structure most likely to collapse would be my own family. My wife, Martha, died 3 years ago. Since then, I've been living alone in our estate in the countryside. It's a beautiful property, 5 acres, a 4-bedroom colonial house, and a detached workshop where I restore vintage clocks. It was our paradise. But to my daughter, Julianne, and her husband, Greg, it wasn't a home. It was a winning lottery ticket they were waiting to cash. Julianne is my only child. We gave her everything. Private schools, cars, a debt-free college education. She married Greg 5 years ago. Greg calls himself an entrepreneur. In reality, he is a man who jumps from one failed business idea to another, usually using other people's money. First, it was a craft brewery, then a cryptocurrency mining farm, then a luxury car rental service. All of them failed. All of them cost me money. I stopped bailing them out 6 months ago. That's when the tone changed. They stopped visiting for Sunday lunch. They stopped bringing my grandson, Leo, to see me. They used the boy as a weapon. Leo is too busy to come over, Julianne would say on the phone, her voice cold. Maybe if you helped Greg with his new venture, we'd have more free time. It broke my heart, but I stood my ground. Or so I thought. 2 months ago, Julianne called me. Her voice was sweet, like it used to be when she was a little girl. "Dad," she said, "we want to throw you a party. A celebration of life. For your 69th birthday." "My birthday isn't for 3 months," I told her. "We know, but we want to do it early. The weather is perfect. We want to host it at your house. A big garden party. All your old friends, Mom's old friends, the family. We want to make things right, Dad. We miss you. Leo misses you." Mentioning Leo was the key. I agreed. I wanted to believe them. I wanted to believe that my daughter loved me more than my bank account. The preparations began. Julianne and Greg took over the house. They hired expensive caterers, a live jazz band, and florists who covered the patio in white lilies. It looked more like a wedding than a birthday party. I tried to ask about the cost, but Greg just waved me off. "Don't worry, Arthur. It's our treat. An investment in family." That word, investment, made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Greg never spent a dime unless he expected $1 back. 3 days before the party, I went to my lawyer, Mr. Henderson. He's a shark in a cheap suit, a man who has seen every ugly side of human nature. "Arthur," he said, looking at the invitation Julianne had sent out. This isn't a birthday party. Look at the guest list. I looked. I didn't recognize half the names. Who are these people? Real estate developers. Investors. Loan sharks Greg owes money to, Henderson said. I did some digging. Greg is in deep, Arthur. He owes nearly $500,000 to private lenders. They are desperate. So, what is this party? It's a show, Henderson explained. They are going to show you off. Show off the house. Prove to these investors that Greg has access to your wealth. And I guarantee you, before the cake is cut, they are going to ask you to sign something. I felt sick. What do I do? Cancel the party? Henderson smiled, a cold, sharp smile. No. If you cancel, they will just try again later, maybe when you're sick or vulnerable. You need to end this now. We need to set a trap. We are going to prepare a document of our own. And we are going to install cameras. Everywhere. The day of the party arrived. The weather was beautiful, but my stomach was in knots. By 2 p.m., my lawn was filled with strangers drinking my scotch and eating shrimp cocktails. Greg was walking around in a suit that cost more than my first car, shaking hands, pointing at the house, pointing at the land. I heard him say to a man with a gold watch, "Yes, the zoning allows for subdivision. We could put 6 luxury condos on the back lot." They were already selling my home while I was still living in it. Julianne found me in the kitchen. She looked beautiful, but her eyes were darting around nervously. "Dad, you look handsome. Are you having a good time?" "Who are all these people, Jules?" I asked. "Just friends. Connections." "Dad, listen, later on, Greg wants to make a special toast. Just, go along with it, okay? It's a surprise. I don't like surprises. Please. For me? For Leo?" I nodded, gripping my cane tighter. "Fine." Around 5 p.m., the music stopped. Greg stood on the raised patio steps, tapping a spoon against a champagne glass. The crowd hushed. Julianne stood next to him, smiling that frozen, fake smile. "Everyone, thank you for coming." Greg boomed. "We are here to celebrate Arthur Vance. A legend. A builder. A father." The strangers clapped. I stood at the bottom of the stairs, feeling like a prize poodle at a show. But, Greg continued, his voice dropping to a serious, somber tone. "We all know that maintaining a property like this is a burden. Arthur is getting older. His health isn't what it used to be." I stood straighter. My health was perfect. I hiked 3 miles every morning. "Arthur has decided that it's time to retire for real," Greg lied to the crowd. "He wants to travel, to rest. So, tonight, we have a special announcement. Arthur is officially handing over the management of the Vance estate to Julianne and myself. We will be developing the land to secure the family legacy, while Dad moves into a luxury assisted living facility where he can relax." The crowd cheered. My blood ran cold. Assisted living? I was 68, not 98. Greg pulled a blue folder from a nearby table. "Dad, come on up here. We have the papers ready. Just a formality." A power of attorney and a deed transfer so we can handle the heavy lifting for you. He uncapped a fountain pen and held it out to me. The guests were watching. The pressure was immense. If I caused a scene, I would look like a confused, angry old man. That's exactly what they wanted. I walked up the stairs slowly. I took the microphone from the stand. "Thank you, Greg," I said. My voice was steady. "Just sign right here, Dad," Julianne whispered, pointing to the line. "Don't ruin this." I looked at the crowd. My son-in-law is right about one thing. It is time for a change. I looked at Greg. But there seems to be a misunderstanding. I am not moving to a facility. And I am not signing this house over to you. The crowd went silent. Greg's smile twitched. "Dad, you're confused. We talked about this." "We never talked about this," I said, loud enough for the microphone to catch. "You invited strangers to my home to witness a theft. You are trying to bully me into signing away my life's work to pay off your gambling debts and failed business loans." A murmur went through the crowd. The man with the gold watch narrowed his eyes at Greg. "Stop it," Greg hissed, grabbing my arm. His grip was painful. "You senile old bat. Sign the paper. Now." "Let go of me," I said. "Sign it." Greg shouted, losing his composure. He shoved the pen at my chest. "You owe us. We've been waiting for you to die for years, but you just keep going. Sign the damn paper." Julianne grabbed my other arm. "Dad, please. Just do it. We're going to lose everything if you don't. The investors are right there. Get your hands off me." I pulled away. Greg snapped. The facade of the loving son-in-law vanished. He wound up and punched me. A closed fist to the side of my jaw. I fell backward. I hit the stone patio hard. My glasses flew off. I tasted blood. The crowd gasped. Someone screamed. I lay there for a second, stunned. Greg stood over me, panting, his face red with rage. He looked like he was going to kick me, but the man with the gold watch, one of his investors, stepped forward and shoved Greg back. "Are you crazy?" the investor shouted. I sat up slowly. My jaw throbbed, but my mind was crystal clear. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out my phone. I didn't call the police. I pressed a button that sent a signal to Mr. Henderson, who was waiting in a van just down the road with a private security team. "You hit me," I said, wiping blood from my lip. "On camera." I pointed to the flower arrangements. Hidden inside the lilies were small, high-definition lenses. I pointed to the security light above the door. "Another camera. You set me up." Greg screamed. "I protected myself," I replied. Within 2 minutes, the private security team was on the property, securing the scene until the police arrived. The guests scattered like cockroaches when the lights turned on. They realized there was no deal, no development, just a fraud investigation waiting to happen. When the police arrived, they watched the footage immediately. It was clear as day. Elder abuse. Assault. Attempted extortion. While the officer was handcuffing Greg, Julianne came running up to me. She wasn't checking to see if I was okay. She was holding the blue folder. "Dad, you have to stop this. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. If Greg goes to jail, what happens to me? What happens to the house?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. I saw her mother's eyes, but none of her mother's heart. "The house?" I asked. "There is no house, Julianne." She froze. "What?" "I signed the papers yesterday," I told her, my voice flat. "I knew you were planning something. I didn't know it would be this bad, but I knew you wanted the estate. So, I donated it." "You, what?" "I donated the entire property to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. The deed was transferred yesterday morning. I retain a life estate, which means I can live here until I die. But I don't own it anymore. And neither do you. You can't inherit what I don't have." Her face went pale white. Her knees actually buckled. "But, the money. The equity. We needed that for the loans." "Then I guess you'll have to get jobs," I said. "You can't do this to your family," she shrieked. "You stopped being my family the moment you valued my signature more than my safety." I turned to the police officer. "I want to press charges. Full extent of the law. Assault, battery, and whatever else my lawyer can think of. And I want a restraining order against both of them." "Both?" Julianne whispered. "Dad, I didn't hit you." "No," I said, looking at the spot where she had held my arm while her husband screamed at me. "You just held me down. That was 6 months ago." The legal fallout was massive. Greg is currently serving 3 years in prison for assault and fraud. It turns out he had forged my signature on other documents to get smaller loans, and the video evidence from the party opened the floodgates for investigators. Julianne received a suspended sentence because she testified against Greg, but the restraining order stands. She cannot come within 500 feet of me. She sends letters. I don't open them. I put them in a box in the closet. Maybe one day, when I'm gone, she can have them back. The house is quiet now. The donation to the hospital came with a lovely clause: they handle all the maintenance. The taxes are a tax write-off. I live here for free, surrounded by my clock collection and the memories of the wife who would have been devastated by all of this. I changed my will, too. My liquid assets, savings, stocks, bonds, are now in a trust for my grandson, Leo. He can access the money when he turns 25, provided he completes a financial literacy course and passes a drug test. Julianne and Greg cannot touch a cent of it. Last week, I was working in my shop, fixing a grandfather clock from the 1800s. It had been broken for years, the gears jammed, the rhythm lost. It took patience, precision, and a lot of cleaning to get the grime out. But finally, I set the pendulum swinging. Tick. Tock. Tick. Tock. It was the sound of order returning. The sound of peace. I miss my daughter. I miss the idea of her. But I learned a hard lesson that day on the patio. You cannot buy love, but you can certainly pay a high price for keeping the wrong people in your life. I am Arthur Vance. I am alone, but I am safe. And for the first time in years, My time is my own.